and get started. I'm going to go ahead and you have to excuse me. I've got a little laryngitis, but I'm going to call this meeting to order. Welcome everybody this afternoon, 4 o'clock. Michelle, you want to go ahead and give a roll call out, please?
No, not this board.
Okay.
Okay, Candace Ingram. Here. Anastasia Aziz.
Present.
Joe Emilio.
Here. Okay, thank you, Michelle. This is for the adoption of the agenda. Do you have a motion to adopt the agenda?
I second.
Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Of course, this legal statement. In the past, my other things I've been on, we're supposed to read it, but it's online. Public comment is at the committee's on the committee's jurisdiction. The committee will take any public comments on specific items that are not on the agenda. And you will be allowed a reasonable time to give the any minutes. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to address the committee prior to the going through the statement? Anybody? Anybody online? Nope. Okay, let's go on moving. And so did everybody kind of review the minutes and from the September 9th, 2025 meeting? I know it was a while ago. Do I have a motion to adopt the agenda? The minutes.
Yeah, I move to adopt the minutes from the September 9th, 2025 meeting.
Okay, thank you, Anastasia. Second? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, now we're just going to be introducing the new members, and those who wish to proceed will be submitted to the Pacific Grove Unified School District for selection. So
through the chair, they're potential new members. You said new members, but they're potential. They're not members
Potential,
yet.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, but potential new members. The Pacific Grove Unified School District Board will do the selection. And I think I see Michael Gibbs in the audience here. There's Michael. And let's see, Kelly Dunlin. Okay, thank you. And then Dwayne Thatcher. Okay, good. Thank you for the correction of the name there. Okay. Is there any, those who wishing to proceed, they will be proceeded to go to the Pacific Grove Unified School District. Number 7 is public comments on.
Can I just ask a clarifying question, Chair?
Yes.
So there are 3 vacancies and 3 potential new members. Is that correct?
I believe that's correct.
Okay.
Let's see, we've got, I understand we have 3 openings.
Yeah, if you,
Correct, Mr. Anderson?
Yeah.
that is correct. We
Okay,
have 3
thank you.
vacancies.
So
the
why don't we
business-
go ahead and, yes,
Business organization is vacant, member of the community is vacant. I'm just looking at the last page of these.
Okay.
And which is the, and so there, this is someone's last meeting, which one of these other positions is vacant?
It was Jessica Thompson, I believe, who actually we figured out kind of last minute that she actually termed out.
Okay,
Oh, okay.
So that technically her position is now vacant.
so that's another parent
Yep.
or guardian active in the PTA. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
okay, thanks for bringing that up, Anastasia.
You
So,
could, I was gonna say, you could find that on the very last page
yeah,
of the agenda.
I see it. Thank you, Mr. Anderson. You have to excuse my voice. Had a little laryngitis, and my wife always tells me I'm speaking too much in my other jobs. So anyway, so public comments on the 2014 election Measure A Educational Technology Bond Series C finding. Who's going to give that presentation?
This is actually public comment on specifically to the measure. And
Okay,
if we have anybody online or anybody in the, or
anybody?
is this present?
And Chair, was anything to the staff, was anything in writing received? No written comments?
No.
No?
I'm Michelle, you didn't receive anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I personally haven't received anything either as chair, so. Okay, so our public comments on 2020 election Measure D Facilities Bond Series A finding.
Funding. Funding.
Go ahead.
It's funding, not finding.
Funding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I'll just ask again, were any written comments received?
No.
Okay.
Any public comment? Yes. Someone up here?
Yes.
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 I'm Mike Gibbs. I'm a local resident. Just a real quick question. I was looking through the information before came to the meeting. And so the question is, does this statement apply to Measure D? In the statement in the PGUSD Citizen Bond Oversight Committee page says no funds are used for teacher or administrative salaries. So my question is, does that apply to Measure D? Thank you.
Okay. Don't usually respond to public comment. However, does anybody wish to comment?
You can give me direction if you want, then I could respond to. Mr.
Okay,
Gibbs.
I'll give you the direction, Mr. Anderson.
I'll respond to you via email, Mr. Gibbs.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's see. So we did number 8, correct? Okay. So information discussion. Matthew Binder, Director of Educational Technology, an update on presentation Measure A, Ed Tech Bond.
Sure. Thank you, Council. Realizing that this meeting is mostly concerned with Measure B and D, we thought that both Director Algazi and myself thought that it would be a good idea to bring the council up to speed in terms of what we've been working on with regards to the Measure A portion of your oversight, and that's the Ed Tech bond related to the Ed Tech draft plan for 2026-29. We presented this draft plan to the school board last week and received quite a bit of constructive feedback. And just to give you a really high level view of what this plan consists of, 6 areas. The most probably the greatest priority is classroom technology use. There's a lot of interest around the community around how technology is being used in the classrooms now, particularly now that we've gone past the pandemic quite a few years. And so we've been doing a lot of research on the evidence that either shows favorability, positive correlations to technology use in the classroom, and also some that shows a different picture. So we're spending a lot of time in terms of refining what it means to use technology with intention, with developmental level appropriateness, with consistency and standardization in classrooms across the district. Our second area is digital safety and citizenship. This has to do with cybersecurity, digital awareness, citizenship, and safety for students, and how we're essentially protecting the environment, the digital environment, from outside threats. Third is AI, of course. Artificial intelligence is rapidly evolving, and we want to be certain that the district is well positioned to take on the challenge of integrating AI with a measured, safe, cautious, and very prudent strategy. We've got area 4, technology management. This is our day-to-day operational processes and protocols. And then our service and support continues with a multi-level strategy for offering daily service and support to our users. And then we're going to talk briefly, pretty much most of what we should be referencing in this presentation is mostly our signature project, which has to do with the funding from the Measure A technology Ed Tech bond. So just really quick, our classroom technology approach is based first and foremost on intentionality, active engagement, as opposed to passive consumption of digital content. So that's a little bit of a shift that we're making as we head into the next 3 years, and really making certain that our practices in all classrooms are following intentionality. Developmental level has to do with duration and numbers of sessions of students using their devices, Chromebooks or iPads in the classroom. And then there's a tie into digital homework assignments, and we're really emphasizing that digital homework, screen-based technology homework has to be commensurate with what is being taught in the classroom. There has to be a balanced approach with traditional forms of homework as well as digital. We drafted a framework, a strategic framework around the use of screen-based technology, student screen time in the classroom, and it is specific to developmental grade level bands, as you can see there, K2, 3, 5, 6, 8, 9, 12. And that's an incremental increase as the students develop through the grades and through age. And this is all research backed based on peer review publications from American Academy of Pediatrics, some international publications. There's a variety of research articles that we reference to construct this framework. The theoretical models we're referencing has to do with how teachers view their integration of technology. There's a couple of models we're going to basically ensure gain some traction in the district over the next 3 years. One is the EdTech Triangle from every school. Next one is the SAMR model, which was, next slide, thank you, which was introduced in 2010 by a leading educational researcher and is usually considered the gold standard for how teachers view their technology integration and whether or not it is meeting the promise of increasing and accelerating student learning. We also internationally reference a body of work from International Society of Technology and Education, which has been around ever since probably the first computers made their way into the classroom. And so that's going to definitely drive some of our professional learning. Okay. Related literature that I spoke to a little bit, we can continue on. Digital safety and security, protection for our environment really has to do with those three big areas: cybersecurity, proactive monitoring, which we do have software in place that does that. And we are certainly using that software on a daily basis, which provides alerts anytime students are venturing into areas that are a little concerning in terms of potential self-harm or looking at things that are, we're trying to essentially search for things online that are school inappropriate. We have a lot of blocking systems in place, obviously, as required by law. And then lastly, digital safety and citizenship. Okay. AI, the big topic as of late, of course. Our approach is going to be to proceed with caution because it is an untested, unregulated form of technology that is rapidly evolving. And as a result of it, we are proceeding with extreme caution in terms of how we guide staff to use AI. Blocking most of the AI models that are available. We do allow staff to use Google Gemini, which is essentially a in-house model that Google has developed and is within our environment, our ecosystem already. All other AI is blocked. Technology management, just is the day-to-day, like I said, network core services. Director El Ghazi is leading that and doing a lot of work with regards to how we manage our digital resources and our enterprise-wide tools. Services and support, we continue providing what I would consider rapid response support to all of our end users, whether it's teachers, whether it's even students at the site level. Our site IT techs are directly working with students as well. And of course, even parents. I was on the phone this morning with 3 different parents. We are now in our online registration process. So there's obviously a need that surfaces around the use of technology since it is all online through the mobile app that we have our parents registering for school for the next school year. And then finally, our signature projects. This is where we're going to draw most of our EdTech bond funds. And as you can see there, most of it in the coming 3 years will be concentrated on device refreshes across the board for not only students, but for staff. And of course, we're going to continuing with our audio visual upgrades in non-instructional areas, particularly around multi-purpose rooms, auditoriums, and high school gym. And finally, in year 3, we'll continue to do some tailoring of our security camera systems and also asset management for better inventory control. So that's essentially our, I'd say, high level, very quick presentation of our draft plan. Like I said, we got a lot of good feedback from the board presentation last week that we are integrating into the current draft plan. We expect to get that plan back in front of the board on June 4th for another review. And then the final meeting, I think, is a special board meeting. We hope to secure final approval. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them, myself or Director Algazi, really.
Thank you for your presentation.
Mr. Chair.
Why don't we go to public comment before we bring it back to the bond committee? Do we have anybody online or anybody in the audience wishes to make a public comment?
No one online.
Nobody. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
We'll bring it back to the committee here, and myself, thank you very much for the
That's my pleasure.
presentation. Appreciate it. And I do have a question, but I'll bring it back to the board if they, CBOC, if they want to make a comment.
Absolutely.
I have a question also, and I don't care if you go first or.
You can go first.
I would just like to ask a clarification. When you talk about screen time, what does that mean? So for example, if a class is a 50-minute class and in the high school, you're allowing 40 minutes of screen time, I believe. Does that mean that they're on the computers and have 10 minutes to interact?
So it depends on the lesson. Yeah, it generally, so the way we define screen time in the plan is that students are essentially working on their own individual device. So that's why we establish these benchmark or baseline maximums, allowable screen time in a given school day and however many sessions. So at the high school level, of course, they're essentially preparing for work, career, and college, which is going to have to mirror the use of technology on a more frequent basis. But if you go all the way down to the elementary level, you'll see it's dramatically lower because we expect that elementary students should be interacting with the physical environment face to face, working with materials with their hands. And that's the priority as far as instruction goes. So screen time is student device centric, and that student device also could be a shared circumstance or instructional setting. It could be a center's instructional setting, so which students are rotating and they're visiting a center and there's a device there that could technically count as part of the screen time amount of instruction.
Thank you.
Stacia?
Thanks, Chair Amelia. I think some of the classes at the high school also are 90 minutes in length or
That is
on
correct.
certain days like B and
Yeah, that is correct.
E days. So they're not all 50-minute classes, but 40 minutes is, yeah, a lot of time. So I appreciate this information. Thank you very much. And I acknowledge it's a very difficult subject and something I grapple with as a parent day to day.
Absolutely.
And I would just ask that as things are just so rapidly changing, and I know the staff and the board are staying on top of how these guidelines change. Are they too much? Are they too little? So I just encourage you to continue to monitor that because it's something we have no idea
Right.
about how it's affecting the development of the children's brains. Really, I think people are doing their best to try to understand it, but this is a real experiment on our children.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
thank you.
I know this is a simple question, and I'm sure it's been happening. You know, you've been doing this for a while, right? And I'm sure the staff, teachers, and everybody have been involved with some of the feedback on the tech plan.
Absolutely. We
you.
visited each of the school sites, and our committee essentially did most of the development work on the content of the plan, around 5 or 6 sessions that we had throughout the year. And then this work was initiated last year. So it's been about an 18-month plus process right now. Yeah.
So, great.
Yeah.
again, excellent presentation. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Was there anything else from anybody? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and John, Mr. Anderson, Director of Maintenance, Operations and Transportation, giving an update on the presentation PGUSD Measure D projects, summer projects managed by PGUSD.
Well, thank you, board, for being here tonight. I appreciate everybody coming. I think it's important to note this is we're finally starting to get in our rhythm here with the Citizens Bond Oversight Committee. It was kind of rough getting it restarted and I'm grateful for all of you that are come and attend and sacrificed your time to be here. I think it's also important to note tonight that we have Dustin and Cody who will be doing a presentation after me. They've been brought on board to help with construction management. And so annually, I would do quite a few projects. Since I came here just about 4 years ago, we've done about 77 projects and expended most of Measure D that was kind of setting in limbo for a while. And now with Measure B and finishing out Measure D, quite honestly, it's more than just one person can do. And so having this team assist is huge, because what we're going to see is now we're going to see a rapid increase in the timeline for getting projects done. And so they'll be presenting that later. So what I am presenting tonight is actually just the projects that will be performed under my management and the management of PGUSD directly. So next slide, please. So this year we'll be continuing with the painting at the Pacific Grove Middle School. We'll be doing, can I actually borrow your pointer?
Yeah.
Got a pointer. So one of the Performing Arts Center, which is directly at the front of the school and actually the grand building over there with the beautiful facade, that will be getting a fresh up this year. We also have the music building, which is one of our newer buildings, but the paint is fading, as well as the gymnasium. We have a little bit of wood rot repair going on there. The exciting thing about this year, which is different than last year, is our competitive bidding has been returning much better results. Last year, we were seeing everything coming in over estimate, and we were not getting a good turnout at our call for bids. We're getting an exceptional turnout, and you can see we're at little over 45% under our estimated cost for this project. Next slide, please. Next item is Robert Down Elementary School. This project has been almost 4 years in the making. It's the oldest fire alarm system in the school district. It's been problematic at times. It's fully functional, but it still has its glitches, and we really need to bring it up to date. So this is another good reason why we have Dustin and Cody on board with Asonio and B&D helping manage projects. I took this out to bid for the design phase, and then it went through DSA, fire marshal approval and on stuff. And so it's been 3 years in the making from when it first went out to actually seeing it to fruition and getting actually installed this year. Again, based on last year's estimated cost, we were assuming $750,000. We came in at 281, 671.03. That's 62% under the estimate. So we're doing really well there as well. Next item. David Avenue exterior painting. So this is one of our older buildings, but still an important part of our campuses. This is a leased building that we lease these buildings to the charter school, and the two front buildings that face the street were we had lead-based paint abatement done last year, if you remember correctly, and we went back kind of close to the original paint scheme. By the way, the buildings, this is only the third time those buildings will be painted since 1956. So we've definitely got our lifespan of the paint jobs on those. Again, we've come in under. We were estimating about $300,000 for this year's project, and we came in at 23% under. So again, these Measure D funds will go back into the Measure D bank account, if we will, and gain interest for a year or so until we get to roll them into another project. Okay, last slide. So this is the Pacific Grove High School roofing and painting. This is a continuation of the work we've been doing there for the last 4 years. So we're looking to put a weather weld liquid applied roof on these 3 buildings. What we've done is we've gone out to bid for the gymnasium and the weight room, but we wrote into the bid an additive alternate for the locker rooms. Once I started seeing that our bid numbers were coming in lower than anticipated, I went ahead and wrote that into my call for bids. So we're estimating the cost at around $800,000. We're hoping we'll come in under that and have the opportunity to roll in the locker rooms as well. Okay. Any questions at this time? Or comments?
So, do you have any more?
That's the four that I'll be taking care of this year. It's a
No, I mean,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great. Let me just bring it out to the public. Any comments from the public or anything online? Nothing? Okay, I'll go ahead and start. Any of you want to start off and then I'll go up last here. Do you have anything? Yeah.
Can you remind me of the bond duration?
So this bond is actually, we're in the final phase of bond measure D. So this is the last issuance for that one. And so after this summer, it's fairly well spent. These are part of the quick start projects. Dustin and Cody are also managing a handful of those. So that this year will technically be the end of the last pull, but we're going to have some money left over to probably do a few more things in the coming year.
Thank you.
And through the chair, so this is a mix of exterior and interior painting then?
Oh, no, this is all exterior painting.
For the high school and same for the
Yes,
middle school?
all exterior painting.
All exterior painting, okay.
Yeah, if you recall, 4 years ago when I first came here, I approached the board with the plan to take care of the building envelope because it
Yes,
was the most
yes.
dynamic and important thing that needed to be addressed. So this is a continuance of that.
Okay, and just the lead abatement for David Avenue School, so encapsulating it is still an acceptable method to abate
Absolutely.
the
You actually open up a bigger problem if you try to get it all off. So the methodology is to remove what's called loosen peeling,
Mhm.
and then you encapsulate.
Okay,
Probably all of our schools have lead paint underneath the original paint, but over the years, all of the buildings have been lead paint based, abatement and encapsulation, with the exception of this campus. So well overdue.
okay. Well, I appreciate all the work done on keeping the facilities and spending the money. It needed to be done, and I think it saves the district money in the long run, because if you defer maintenance for years and years, it just becomes more and more costly and more problems. Like the buildings can't be like children can't attend school because there's some serious issues, like there's been lack of heating or if the fire alarm doesn't work. So I appreciate that the bond money is being spent in a thoughtful manner and protecting the building envelope to extend the life of the building so that our children have reasonable facilities to come to school to every day to learn. So thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much
Okay.
for your presentation, Mr. Anderson.
You're welcome. I did have one final thing I would like to point out. So
hold my comment.
I'm sorry, it's okay.
That's all right, no worries.
While I am managing these 4 projects with Measure D, there are still what we call our Fund 40 and Fund 14 projects. So we technically, for PGUSD management, we're managing probably about 12 to 15 projects this summer, but they come from outside of the bond. They're funded outside of that. So I thought it's important to note that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Anderson. I had one quick comment. Thank you for all that's being done, as Anastasia, as he said, how great it is. And I kind of look at it as a simple thing. It's like a house. Eventually you have to paint it. Eventually you have to remodel the kitchen, like my wife keeps saying. And eventually you've got to do a lot of things to just a house. But I was going to make a comment. I've seen all the work that's been done around Pacific Road Unified, but I live off of David Avenue. I live on probably the best street as ever, Lincoln Avenue, and the best number is 1313. And that's the truth too. But when I go by that, when I was going by there many times on David Avenue with that charter school, I did notice, oh gosh, the paint was kind of going on it, but it was, I wasn't about what I was saying, but what you did to that school was fantastic. The paint job, as I always say, paint jobs wash away millions of sins. And I think that's important.
Yeah. And quite honestly, I was quite happy to see it go back to very close to the original color scheme. I think it just brings back the original character of the school as well.
Well,
Yeah.
that was the original color scheme they painted.
Yes, it's pretty close to it. Believe it or not, that barn red color had a dark green trim that looked fairly atrocious. So we found a more complementary trim color. So yeah.
Okay. Any other comments from anybody? Okay, thank you very much,
Okay.
Mr. Anderson.
Excellent. Thank you.
Then we've got Dustin Connor, bond program manager. See if I say this right. Alcitio, okay.
And we have Cody Carpino as well. Go ahead.
Okay, yeah, I'll introduce myself. So I'm Cody Carpino. I'm a director with Brailsford and Dunleavy. We're teamed with Dustin and the Ausonio team on the bond program management and construction management for this district. My background is architecture. I'm actually a licensed architect, but I've been on the bond program management side for about 5 years. So we're going to take you through just an update on where we are in terms of the progress, and then we have some exciting updates on quick start projects that are going to occur this summer. And then Dustin's going to walk you through the master schedule, which is very complex. Next slide. Next. More. So progress to date, and for whatever reason, I missed the first CBOC meeting, I think in September. I must have been had a conflict. Was on Zoom? Okay. Well, in case you don't remember me, nice to see you in person and 3D. So we have a separate committee meeting that we call the subcommittee. Think of it as a facility committee meeting. In fact, we just met with them last night. We meet with them quarterly, and they're comprised of a principal from each campus, 2 board members, and then a number of parents. And so they're sort of our first stop on any updates or ideas behind budgets and schedules and scope of work. So we meet with them quarterly. And you can see in this progress to date is we've already met with them up here. It was 3 times, and then we met one more time last night. So we've had 4 meetings. And so we've been working here not quite a year yet. There's been a lot of effort put into project priority, developing budgets, schedules. All that doesn't just come out of thin air. It takes some effort and time to really develop those lists. And so we did get the board has approved the master bond project list, second bullet here on the bottom, in February. And so we're going to go through that with you today. They also looked at a quick start list, which John just mentioned, finished up Measure D. So we're working through those final dollars. But quick start allowed us to get going right away while we were developing the full project list for Measure B, as in beta. Slide. So just a couple important bullets here is, the master bond project list is the basis of everything that we do in this bond program. And I'm going to walk you all through our master project list to kind of explain how it's set up, because you're going to see it every time we meet with CBOC throughout the duration of the bond program. I mentioned the quick start list was approved by the board in August. Several quick start projects are in progress. We're going to show you some of the scopes of work and where we are on all of those projects. I mentioned the master bond project list was approved in February. Most recently, in fact, today we just talked about this, is so right now PGUSD has one architect who's going to do everything on your bond program. There are a number of projects that are more engineer based or focused. So like fire alarm replacements, HVAC replacements, you might have a civil project. We felt like it would be necessary or a good idea to have a separate RFQ, which is request for qualifications, to get a pool of pre-qualified engineers on board as well. So that includes civil, structural, mechanical and plumbing, fire protection, telecommunications, and mechanical plumbing. Did I already say that? And so we just went through the RFQ process. In fact, we're going to the board next Thursday with a list of pre-qualified engineers, and there's a total of 7 that we're recommending for approval. and then the master schedule we'll talk about here shortly. So I'm going to spend a few minutes on here. So this is, we have one other consultant with our team called AKG, stands for Ann Kennedy Group. They've developed a software called BMET. You can see in the lower left corner here, the little BMET. That stands for Bond. Oh, thank you. Excellent. So I can speak in point. So right there. So BMET stands for Bond Management Executive Tool. It's something that they designed themselves. It is a pretty impressive software that allows tracking of expenditures, so that's cash out the door, and encumbrances, which means contracts that are in place, but maybe dollars aren't out the door. So throughout the duration of this bond and the CBOC members, and hopefully those that are joining soon, we're going to be looking at this on every time we meet. In fact, the reports are going to be based on this, and even annual reports start pulling from this data. The cool thing about BMET is that it downloads data nightly. It connects with MCOE, so Monterey County Office of Education. So the data is live, and we have the means of looking at any moment what the current encumbrances and expenditures are. So the way this is set up is we have each campus project numbers are based on an acronym, so FGE, Forest Grove Elementary. And then we have the project numbers. These are the names of each of the various projects. The budget this is a project budget, so that means all in. So that's construction cost plus what we call soft costs, and that's everything: design services, DSA, Division of State Architect, who is the agency having jurisdiction, geotech survey, anything else that goes into it from a professional standpoint. So the dollars you see up there, that is all in project budget. And then we have descriptions here that we worked through with the site principals. We worked through it with the board, with our subcommittee. And so this list that you see on the screen is the board approved list as of February of 26. And so we are just now starting to implement these projects. We're about to release 12 projects for summer of 27 to start design services. Believe it or not, it takes about a year, even for a summer job, to go through the process of design and DSA. And so we're just now getting those started. Any questions on the list? It's multiple pages, but we have one list for each campus.
I just had one question. Do you get a pretty fast response from DSA?
No.
It sounds like
the biggest issue is
city.
there's a code cycle every 3 years, and they just released the new 26 code. And so architects like to get in as much work as they can by end of December of 25 so that they are under the previous code. Because every code cycle has new requirements, new energy modeling, new structural. And so in December, DSA received 3 times as much work as they normally get. They get about $1 billion per month of work. And so they got $3 billion worth of projects to review. So all that to say, they are backlogged. They're trying to catch up. And so, but a typical process is about 3 to 7 months of DSA. That includes submittal time and review time. The more complicated the projects, the longer it takes. Some of the jobs we're going to show you shortly are 5 months, which is still long to, in my opinion. But yeah, the point is we want to try to get design going so we can get into DSA by this fall or winter and be ready for summer construction. And then, yeah, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So through the chair, so this BMET software, is that unique was it created for this school district, or it's a common software used to manage bond projects throughout other school districts?
The latter. They designed it as their own proprietary software. They offer it as a service. It was not designed just for PG. I don't know how many districts they've worked with, but I mean, it's not a ton. It's probably under 50. But it's a very good software to use. There are other competitors, but it's not how can I say it? There aren't multiple competitors to BMET.
Okay. But this is a good tool for these particular, for school districts implementing bond projects.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Especially when you have, I forget how many projects we have, like 80 or 90 projects. It really helps monitor and manage individual projects. Now, a district that might have 10 projects,
Mhm.
this may not make sense to have that used for it.
Okay, and you're gonna walk through some of the projects?
Yes,
Okay.
the quick start projects. I'm going to hand it over to Dustin. Yes.
This may not be the appropriate time to ask this, so you can tell me no. Ask it later or something. Do you use value engineering in what you're doing?
We do. Yeah, there's a lot of issues with budgets and escalation and tariffs and LA wildfires. And so sometimes we have to value engineer. I don't like the term, when I say value, you think of something good, but value engineering, you're typically taking something out of a project. But we, as part of our projects, we would require the architect to do regular cost estimating. So at every phase of the project, we make sure that they're on budget. And if they're not, then we have a value engineering session. Sometimes they're easier than others. Sometimes it's simple. Sometimes it can be pretty complicated.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Hi, everyone. I'm Dustin Connor with Asonio. I've been working on CM work for going on 20 years in June, mostly community colleges and then some K through 12 stuff, and then over at the CSUMB as well. I'm actually a grad of PG High, and then I'm also a parent, so it's nice to be here representing the school on the bond work. So I'm going to go through the master schedule. It's and then the quick start job. So I'm probably gonna have to get away from the mic a little bit to talk through this. So I'll project, and hopefully the recording picks it up. So the way that we have this schedule set up is it's our project schedule. So it's every single project that we had on that master list that we showed is listed here. Cody, you want to flip down one? It's actually 2 pages long. So this is the adult school. We have the David Avenue School, and then the previous slide had the elementary schools and the high school. The way I set it up was the show in our construction phases. Purple is summer jobs that we're going to be doing. Green is a winter job, and then orange is a job during the school year, and then our blue here is an ongoing project that we would do when appropriate, when matching funds comes in, and when needed. Other things to note here is we have the project number. This is the same project number that we use on BMET, so everything in our program is going to be tracked with these project numbers. There's the school acronym, and then there's also a letter B here. So that's measure B funding, and then the actual the number of the job. All the measure D projects have a D in front of that. So when we get in the reporting later today, you'll see D is in front of everything because we're looking at all the D funding that's been spent. We have not actually spent any measure B funding because we just released the bonds. They'll be in the bank I think in June, and so we'll start working on measure B in the coming months here. So everything you'll see today is all measure D, the previous bond. And then we have the start date for construction, the finish date for construction, our duration that we plan to have the construction, and then I loaded up the cost here. We use the cost and the timing here so we can do cash flow, so we can understand like how much money do we need to have in the bank to do this much work on these intervals, and that preps us up for bond releases and continuing to sell bonds and make sure we have money in the bank to do the work. Currently, we've released 27 million of measure B, and the total bond is 78. So we'll have a series of releases throughout this process. Going down the list here, I'll go a little faster than I did for facilities committee, just for the sake of time. But starting up at Forest Grove here, we're planning on doing the summer work for measure D. This summer is playground work, and then we only did phase 1 for for this summer and level 1. And so we're gonna do level 2 and 3 next summer. That was just a decision, so we didn't bite off too much, so we'd be done in time for school to start. So next summer, more playground work. And then there's some infrastructure issues over there. So we're gonna tune up the water lines and the sewer lines over at Forest Grove next summer. Summer after that, 2028, we're gonna take on the multi-purpose room and then start the classroom modernizations. And then 2029, we'll do phase 2 of modernizations at Forest Grove. At Robert Down, this coming fall and winter, we're going to take care of some of the security needs. We loaded the schedule to do priority 1 jobs, which are safety, security, heating, building envelope, all the stuff that was targeted as priority 1 on the facilities master plan is in the front, and then the stuff that was kind of priority 2, the nice to have stuff, we have loaded up in the back, the further out in the years. So at Robert Down, special education classroom next summer, outdoor amphitheater is the phase 2 of the playground work that we're doing at Robert Down next summer, and then summer of 28 is a lot of continuing the ADA upgrades, panic hardware, egress, and then doing the auditorium over there along with the HVAC system that's associated with the auditorium, and then summer of 29 doing continuing phase 2 of the HVAC system at Robert Down. Over at the middle school, John talked about the summer work we're doing this summer. Next summer is a big lift. We're going to redo the track and field. So that's going to be a new synthetic track and a synthetic turf field with track equipment installed, so we can have track meets here. So that's actually going to start in the summer, but it won't be done by the end of the summer. That will continue on into the fall semester. We have a plan to move PE down to the high school during this. We're going to bus the kids over there, and then we'll keep the asphalt on the backside here open for recess and lunchtime. We'll also take care of all the HVAC systems that are on the main building over there next summer, and then finish up roofing replacement, continuation with what John's been doing with building envelope. And then right in the front of the building, we're doing the security upgrades. So there's a mural on the wall as you approach the building on the left, and we're going to put a window in there, and that's going to be a new check-in window. So when people come to the building, they can check in with the staff before the doors unlock and folks are coming in the site. Summer of 28, kitchen expansion. So that was a big item that we got feedback on. Currently, there's one queuing line for the school to serve all the students in the middle school. The line gets backed way up probably into the main building. So we're going to expand that kitchen, try to get 2 queuing lines so we can speed things up, getting kiddos fed. Exterior lighting, a lot of infrastructure stuff's happening summer of 28. So exterior lighting, fixing up the water lines and sewer lines, interior plumbing lines, and then paving the site. Summer of 28, starting on the classroom-wide modernization, so phase 1, and then we're going to do the shop building as well. Shop building is building F, which is next to Cynics there. So that will get a full renovation. So we have to actually close that building down, bring in portables for the students to learn in while we do the renovation. And then wrapping out middle school will be the phase 2 of the modernization and the corridor upgrade. So we're gonna redo all the finishes in the corridors so they look appropriate and match the new classrooms. High school, ADA fencing is going in this fall. So a new walkway down to the baseball field to fix the ADA ramp there, and then fencing along the backside for security. Next summer, we'll do electrical upgrades at the high school, continue on with exterior paints and roofing. There's a lot of buildings there, so we'll finish that off. Summer of 29 is HVAC modernizations phase 2. I think phase 1 we're going to try to take on this winter, and then this campus also has classroom modernization. So phase 1 will be summer of 28, and if you click down, phase 2 will be summer summer of 29, and then actually phase 3, since it's such a large campus, we broke it out into 3 summers. Other work there, we're gonna redo the library plaza to open that up to connect to the main campus. And then we have some infrastructure and security items as well. At the adult school, we're working on the parking lots. So the 2 parking lots will get upgraded. That will happen next spring. And then the big project over there, which was gonna start in looks like the fall of 29, will be a full renovation of that front main building. It has 6 classrooms and offices and support space. So we'll need to bring swing space in for that. So we'll bring in portables for them to be able to have their operations aside from that building while we do the renovation to that main building in the front, right off lighthouse there. David Avenue, next summer, gonna do all the ADA path of travel down the spine of the campus. So when you approach David Avenue, it's like a big steep hill that goes down, bunch of covered walkways that we need to fix up and connect the new path of travel to. And then we're gonna do some fire alarm upgrades. We're also gonna work on the HVAC over at that campus. It needs some love. And then rounding out in 2028 will be modernization to community high. So they're gonna get a facelift over on their little site that's I guess east or west of the David Avenue site. And then we're doing some fencing here at the district office, and we're considering to put a district marquee sign, community one, in probably either the 5-way stop or in front of the middle school, just for like information to the community. Questions on schedule? I know I buzzed through that.
Can you start from the top?
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We got to get through some material here. So quick start jobs. This was the board approved quick start list. So John's managing the ones that he talked about. We're managing some. We'll show you those. But the total all in quick start budget was $9.6 million for Measure D. So this is a lot of the work that we're going to be talking about today in our review of the expense report. Next slide. So here's Forest Grove. So our task this summer is to do the lower level of the site. So taking out all this asphalt, redoing all the asphalt and striping down here. We're adding a little lunch space right here. So districts has some grant funding to add covered lunch tables. So this pad will support those, so we can anchor them into the concrete. Out here in the front of the site, this is the admin building right here, the main entrance. We're redoing all the landscaping for some new entry appeal. And then right here is going to be like an outdoor classroom that comes off the multi-purpose room, so you can spill activities out of the multi-purpose room out into that little quad area. Over here, behind the new asphalt is an amphitheater. So there's an amphitheater that holds, I think, like 350 people. The whole campus population will be covered with a sunshade as well. So assemblies and things can occur in this space with presentation set up down here. And then we're doing ADA path of travel across the front here and up to level 2. So next summer will be level 2 here and level 3, getting those all dialed in. Next slide. Robert Down, similar scope to Forest Grove. So all this asphalt over here on the west side is going to get replaced. This is a slope site with a lot of drainage issues, with water coming off the hillside and draining under the building. So we tiered this thing with a seat wall right here and a planter. So this basketball court will be flat with drainage, and then this will be a flat area where they line up all the kids. They go back in the classrooms. So we'll fix our drainage problem and then redo all the striping with ball walls and new basketball hoops and whatnot. Over here is our ADA path of travel that we're going to add to get to level 2. This area right now is under consideration for DSA. They have some questions about it, so we might have to pause on this and do it later. but we are anticipating to redo this asphalt over here for the first graders. And then next summer, we're gonna add a amphitheater similar to Forest Grove right here in this this landscape area between level 1 and level 2. Next slide. This is the high school work. So I talked about how we're gonna start in the fall with the ADA path to travel down to the baseball field. So here's our switchback ramps going all the way down to the baseball field. That eliminates this boat ramp situation that we got going on right here. We're also adding a service road up here, paved service road, so facilities and fire could get down the main quad here, and then new fencing along the back side here to secure the back entry and allow the staff to monitor the front closer. Next slide. And then this is our Robert Down HVAC project. So I think we're gonna get this done this summer. Originally we put this together, it was a winter job, but I think we're gonna be able to push to get it done this summer. Putting new HVAC units in the attic of Robert Down to feed the library space. So fresh air, heat, getting that space upgraded. And then this is the adult school location. So currently the adult school has a parking lot in the back that's fallen apart. So next spring we'll tear this out and redo all the parking here. And then there's an old annex building F site. I guess it was a nursing building back in the day. It still remains. We're going to demo that building and then extend the parking lot next to the child care center over here off 17 Mile. And actually this is phased, so we'll do this lot first. So we have extra parking, and then we'll demo this one and get that done. The adult school is kind of tricky because it never closes. It's always open. So I think that's it on the any more quick start slides? No? Okay, so next step. So design proposals for 27. Cody mentioned this. So we have our master schedule. We're going to the board next week with that. Gonna get feedback there. And then we'll launch into getting all the design proposals ready for summer of 27. We got to work on our cash flow and finance plan. I think we're good right now with our bond sale for 27 million, but we'll keep an eye on that. And then the design management and planning. So a lot of implementation plans. How are we going to get this done once we have our design? Working with the school and the community and the facilities committee and the board on getting everything all coordinated and the communication out there, and then knocking out these quick start jobs this summer and then fall and spring. Questions?
Before we bring it back to the
Yep.
the board, the CBOC, any public comment?
Okay.
You want to go up to?
It's just a clarification. What's a quick start project?
Quick start. The quick start project was a strategy when we came online to get a lot of the priority 1 projects that were on the facilities master plan started this summer. So that master list and master schedule that took like 9 months for us to develop, but we wanted to have some progress right away. So we developed the quick start project, got that approved by the board, got those jobs going, and then we went and worked on the master plan that you just saw. Yeah.
Do we have anybody online? No. Let's bring it back to the committee. Anybody?
Thanks. Through the chair. I just have a couple, and are you going to talk about non-quick start projects after this, or this is the end of the presentation?
This is the end of.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just have a few questions.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I'll just ask, you mentioned classroom modernization. So what exactly does that consist of?
So at this phase in the game, we have a budget that we've established with the funding. When we did all the estimating for what would it take to do everything on the facilities master plan, it was like $300 million. And so there was a big task to hone in on, what priorities are we going to do. And so we established budgets for the modernization. I think it's like $3 million or I forget, I'd have to pull it up, but it's a budget driven project. So when we get there, we'll work with the design team and the facilities committee and the end users on, you know, how do we spend this money? What makes best sense to make an impact with the budget that we've established.
So it's- okay, so the.
So it's not
specific
really
items-
defined right now.
Okay.
As far as like.
So presumably it'll be things like interior paint,
Yeah.
replacing the drapery,
Finishes, casework,
maybe
lighting,
flooring,
yeah.
just like refreshing the whole.
Yeah, a lot of
Okay.
cleanup. If you go in the classrooms, there's a lot of like legacy, like conduit and wire and things from older equipment that we probably clean that up.
They definitely
Yeah.
need a refreshing cleanup for
Right.
sure. So, okay. And then you mentioned HVAC. You didn't, so does that not include air conditioning? I'm guessing I just want.
We are not doing a whole lot of air conditioning
Yeah.
just because of our climate and
Yeah.
the, you know, the bang for our buck isn't probably the
Okay.
best use of funds to put HVAC in, or air conditioning. So
Yeah.
heat and fresh air is our current standard.
Okay. And then ADA, it's all, I noticed path of travel, and
Mm-hmm.
that's because those are like the easier quick start, and is other ADA improvements to come later?
Yeah, so the ADA is a path to travel, code compliant for the sites, and that was a priority one item on the facilities master plan. So that's why we got them on the quick start jobs, and we're rolling them out fairly early on the master schedule.
And then ADA upgrades will be coming within the buildings later?
Yeah, we had there's some projects up there for like panic hardware and egress compliance for ADA within the interiors of the buildings, but the interiors were pretty good when we did our survey.
All the restrooms
Well,
are compliant?
restrooms get picked up when we do these larger jobs. It's like a mandate that they look at the restroom and upgrade those as part of the larger projects.
And then with the high school, the ADA, is that elevator, is the plan to decommission the elevator that is in and out of service all the time?
Elevator.
So we've been working on the elevators for basically a little over 2 years, trying to get them into compliance. What we have there is a condition where the state doesn't have enough inspectors to come out and actually inspect and issue permits. I invite you to go to any elevator you wish in the local area, and you'll probably either see a notice that says, you know, the permits on file in the office, which they're trying to hide the fact that it's not current, or if there is one posted, it's probably not current. And that's just unfortunately a condition with the state of not having enough. We have had all of our elevators, with the exception of the one at the high school, updated, inspected, tested, and ready to rock and roll. We have at least 2 current permits right now. We have yet to have the final repairs made at the high school site. And that is basically because our current service provider has had some scheduling difficulties. They too don't have enough people to get out and actually complete the repairs, but they've done I'd say about 80% of what needs to be done. And we're very close. We're waiting for the next and final phase to get that completely operational.
So the intent is to have all the elevators at the district operational as part of the ADA compliance plan. It's just waiting for
Absolutely.
inspection. Okay.
Absolutely.
We're not planning to decommission any.
No,
Okay.
not going to decommission anything. So,
Okay.
like I
Okay.
said, all of them except for the one at the high school are current, inspected, everything, just not permitted. And that's a state issue, not a school district issue.
And can you use the elevator if they haven't gotten the state inspection, or do you have to wait?
Technically what they issue is basically a little sticker we put on there that says it's like, they actually send us permits when we pay our annual fees that have the old date on them. And so,
Or do we use?
yeah,
them?
we feel very confident that they're able to be used because they've actually been inspected and tested by a qualified mechanical service, you know, elevator inspector, you know, the service company, those are the people who actually do the work on it. And inspectors just look at them, if you will.
So it's not a problem, it's not a liability problem for the school district or something?
No, I
happens?
don't think it's a
Okay.
liability, because otherwise they'd have to shut down, you know, more than 50% of the elevators in the
Okay.
state of California.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then my last question, just, I know, maybe this is in the other proposals, but power consistency to Forest Grove and the high school, how's that addressed? I know that they have replaced one of the large, I'm not sure what it's called, transformers down by Naval Postgraduate School in Del Monte. They've been working on that, and that's supposed to really improve the power consistency here in Pacific Grove, but I know I don't think school was closed this winter
Mhm.
because of lack of power, but I know it has in previous, so I'm just
Right.
wondering, is that being addressed at all, or are we just relying on, is the school district just relying on PG&E to upgrade their facilities and the CPUC to stay on them to do that?
Yeah, so that was on the list, but again, it was part of the the $300 million list, and it didn't, there was other priorities that surfaced to the top before emergency generator for I think Forest Grove was the main topping point. We are going to upgrade the service at Forest Grove. So there's an old transformer and switchgear on the end of building B. And so we're going to take that out and put a new fresh service in there. But I mean, if PG&E goes down, that doesn't matter, but at least we'll have consistency for our own infrastructure. Yeah. Go ahead.
It
Yeah.
probably should be noted that we are putting an emergency transformer, generator in for the middle school. That, knock on wood, we'll get the final approval from DSA and get that installed over this summer. We actually have the generator on site. That is specifically for the server room, because what we have is we've had conditions where, let's say if the middle school's out, but the other schools are active, since the servers are housed there, we have no tech. Yeah. So we're hoping to correct that. And that was one thing we were able to get across the board with Measure D funding. And that hopefully will be completed soon.
I guess another follow-up to that question is bond measures are, it's a 5-year plan, and priorities change throughout the evolution of the bond. So if it's not on the list right now, and that doesn't mean it's never going to be considered again. It's just kind of how things evolve and where we end up. It changes with the tide of the district. So.
Well, thank you very much for all this. I do understand there's
Yeah.
lots of competing priorities from
Mhm.
previous years of deferred maintenance. So I'm glad that this is being done and the money's being spent and the kids, again, can have secure, safe facilities that have working HVAC and working elevators and and refreshed interiors as well.
Yep.
'Cause I think it adds a lot to their mental state if they're coming to facilities that, the community has invested in. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation.
Okay.
I understand the AC.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're in
Uh-huh.
Pacific Grove, as you can see.
Yeah.
Sunshine out there.
Elmer's here.
So that's PG sunshine. So,
Yeah.
but in my other life, I always talk about before I moved back home. I was in Gilroy
Okay.
and they had AC there.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You know about that. So I understand being in PG. And as a breaker, great job.
Oh, thanks.
Okay.
I have a comment.
Yes,
Okay.
go ahead.
Or a question, sorry. And I'm not sure if it belongs in this portion or if I should have asked it when you were up there, or I should wait on it and ask it through the action items. But let me just tell you what it is.
Okay.
What I'm going to ask is there a way to reduce costs on this in terms of paying off the interest on the bonds more quickly? Can we speed up some of the projects so they're done more quickly? Can we, I don't even know how the interest is being paid, honestly. So that's my ignorance and I apologize for that. But so often on the bond measures, the interest is very difficult. And if we could save the money on the interest, either by paying it off more quickly or bumping up our project schedule
Yeah.
more quickly, then perhaps that gives us additional funding to go further in our deferred projects.
Correct. Yeah. Actually, our battle is against inflation. That's usually our number one problem. So we'll make budget today, and then we'd go to build it 3 years, and the budget sucks because inflation, rose, and now we can't afford that project. So we actually have a escalation contingency in our master plan here. And so once we get our schedule all dialed in, we'll adjust budgets to account for anticipated inflation throughout the master plan. Interest, on the other hand, is a good thing. We actually get money back from the state for interest on the bonds that we sell. So they put it in the bank and then we get interest back on the projects, on the money that's in the bank.
So Joshua Jorn couldn't be here tonight. He's our CBO. And
Right.
he actually just covered this at our last board meeting, how he basically paid down one of the bonds just to get a reduction in our interest rate. So he's just recently did that. So he's very cognizant of that, and that is our CBO that takes care of that for us. So
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, we're gonna go on with the next item.
Very good.
We could be here till midnight, but I'm gonna go move this forward. The number 12 is an action item. Review and approve the 2024 and 2025 annual bond report. And I don't know if everybody's had a chance to look at that, and I did too. Do we have any comments on this from first let's go out to the public. Is there anybody online? No. Out here? No. Okay. Not that I'm not trying to tell you no. Okay. Does anybody have any questions on the committee here in regards to the review and approval of the 2024 and 2025 annual report, bond report? No. Okay.
No, I don't have any questions. I feel like we've been also well briefed through these
Yes.
semi-annual meetings as well.
Do I have a motion to approve that?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's go on with number 13, review and approval of the quarterly bond expenditure report for the period ending March 31st, 2026. Before we bring it back to the committee, is there anybody online? Anybody in the public? Oh, okay. I've also reviewed that, and does anybody have any questions? Okay, let's move it forward then. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
I second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Then let's go on with the, let's see.
Item 14.
Yeah, 14, scheduling of the next meeting. So, Mr. Anderson, what's your pleasure on the next meeting? Or the rest of the?
I think it's important to meet again in a September timeframe, so
Yeah,
we could
so-
discuss what happened over the summer.
Okay, that sounds good.
So I think what I would like to ask that we do is after we seat the new board meetings with the board,
Okay,
is then have Michelle reach out to everybody and try to set some dates that we could all attend
in September, that
in
sounds like,
September.
that sounds great. Everybody agree on that? I'm okay with this.
Yeah, the only thing I would say is I don't know if instead of just having, polling everyone every time, if it might be better to say we meet the second Tuesday of September and the second Tuesday of May, so we just know. I'll just put that out as a suggestion so people know and can just plan the schedule. That's just an alternative.
Well, I'm just wondering how long does it take for the board to approve, if they approve?
Oh, they would approve at the next meeting. We've already have a placeholder
Okay,
to get that in. The reason I would maybe not want, I would have to have a physical calendar in front of me because I would not want to set a CBOC
Sure.
meeting the same week as a board meeting.
sure.
It's pretty busy and we have lots to do. So,
And I can't
um,
make Wednesday meetings, so.
yeah. So,
Let's go. So why don't,
I'm fine if we want to place a placeholder on the calendar. I'm okay with that. But I still think we're going to have to reach out to everybody.
okay, we could go ahead. Do you
I just have a question.
Yes.
Is there a reason why we don't use a doodle poll as an example? And could we do that? Because I think it may be a little easier to do that.
Yeah.
Than a lot of back and forth emails of, no, I can't do this. Yes, I can. No,
Yeah.
I can't.
So that's a good suggestion. So why don't we have staff work on that and
Yeah.
this way we can all respond to it.
I'm getting a nod from our master of all technology things, so.
He's
yeah.
cool on it. Okay. Um, what's that?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I'm fine with that. So, okay, this is the end of the meeting. Anything new for the agenda or anything? I think everything's okay. So I think we're about that 5:17. We're cooking. Okay. Everybody have a nice evening and have a good day.
Thank you all.
Good day.